Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's stream where it's actually going to be like probably the most excited music stream that I've ever had. So, if you guys aren't aware, which is why we're doing this whole live stream, on Thursday last week I released an album for Champions of the Universe. I pushed out all the music that I had into one album and I just released it. Unfortunately, because the tournament got canceled because we realized that it was a bit too much for our hands, being all in school and then also just being in general like just something that we weren't prepared for in terms of like the scale of things. And so unfortunately when that happened, we were all very disappointed about that, but we knew why we had to do it. And so then what we decided to do was I asked the team, hey, is it okay if I release the music? And they said, yeah, go for it. And so now Champions of the Universe music is out. Honestly though, if they said no, I would have released it under a different name, but I just wanted to get permission to use the Champions of the Universe title for the album, which is completely fine. It would have gone as a different name. I was thinking probably Tournament of Time or something like that, because the theme was, the original theme for the project was, okay, we're going to make different, all these different mini games, but they're going to be in different time periods or different time eras. So like one was going to be in ancient Egypt, one was going to be in Rome, one was going to be in like the industrial age, one was going to be in the cybernetic future, one was going to be in the current time period. So we were all sort of like debating, okay, like, and that sort of like played into how I wanted to like make my tracks and sort of title them, which is why we have Gladiator Circle and then Bank Heist, because those two were the ones that started first. Obviously Gladiator Circle got finished and then Bank Heist sort of got scrapped, but I finished it anyway. Sorry about that. Let's turn down my mic audio since that seems a bit loud. So anyway, today we are going to be breaking down the soundtrack that you are hearing right now on Bandcamp. It is the Champions of the Universe soundtrack, as we can see here. Bandcamp.com or timetraveler65.bandcamp.com. You can use ! music in the chat to get there. But other than that, let's hop right into it. So I have the project open right now. Here, let's pause the music. And let's close down Streamlabs. So I have a project open right here. Hopefully it switches. It should switch. This is the not the title screen. This is the main theme. Champions of the Universe. Right? Is that what it's called? No, this one's called Welcome to the Games. So that's what the track is called. We have a lot going on here. And part of this is I just suck at automation. But I think some really interesting stuff happens here. So let's quickly just hear this in the project file first, and then we will go over it. Wait, hang on a second. Okay. I don't know why it does this. Every time Pro Tools does this, it doesn't pick up the synth part properly. It's supposed to sound like this. I don't know why it does it. It just does it randomly. I'm trying to pull on my Twitch chat right now since I can't see. I have both my monitors occupied, as you can see here. Oh crap, I just realized I forgot to change what do I meant to? I forgot to change my side screen here. So hang on, let's quickly take that off. Because I was working on concept art last time. So there we go. Now that should be fixed. So yeah, that's the entire track. It's got a lot here. But it's probably one of my best tracks of nah, I wouldn't call it my best track of the soundtrack. I would call Gladiator Circle probably my best track in the soundtrack. But as you can see here, we have a lot going on here. Let's go over the main melody, which is these two instruments, the green and the red. So first we have just a regular sine wave here. Let's pull it up here. So as you can see here beneath me, we have two sine waves here. One with a filter on it and the other not, but they both are just basic sine waves. And so let's take off the echo on it, and it just sounds like this. And then let's throw the echo on. And so yeah, that's a 1/8, I think it's a 1/8 dotted. It's either dotted or dark. I forget which one it is. I'm pretty sure it's, it might be dark. No, I'm pretty sure it's dotted. So that creates the melody of the whole thing. And then we have the same thing on this pad here at measure 33. Look, can you stop sliding around like that? I don't know why it decides to slide around. It's really weird. It does it randomly, and there's no rhyme or reason behind it. But let's hear this without the echo. Same thing. So the echo gives it more reverb and more sound to the actual quality of it, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's the melody there, and then we have some underlying stuff. So like this slow synth. I think it's like a slow synth wave. And so yeah, that's basically that. We have this soundscape here. That sort of just repeats itself quite a bit. It just takes the chords and it just like hits them a few times. And then through this like jumble of automation right here, I actually found this really cool effect that I did at the very end of this, where it sort of just like shoots it up and then takes it right back down. So it's like it's right about to build up and then no. Which I found to be a really cool warp sound in a way. And then lastly we have this bass here, which sort of does the same thing. It's got that delay on it. Same thing as these two parts, but it's just a lot lower to fill out the spectrum. Oh, no, never mind. It doesn't have the dot eighth effect. Never mind. So this is just straight. This is just straight notes. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then over here, 97 onwards is the short version that you hear in the soundtrack. I bet not there. Hang on. So this is just basically the short version. Welcome to the game short. This is where it sits in the project. And yeah, that's pretty much everything that went into Welcome to the Games. It started out with a simple chord progression here. Is my piano on? It's not on. But not even really a chord progression per se. It was just an assortment of notes. Hang on, let's turn off the bass. I'm just gonna play it straight on piano. Can you guys hear that well? I guess, yeah, you guys can hear that. And then it shifted. Hang on, I can play better with my right hand. And so then it was all about just throwing that effect on the actual instruments as we hear them. So that's that. Let's open up the next project, which was Welcome to the Games, I believe. Don't save, because I don't remember what we did. But I'd rather have it left as it was for release. All right, so this is Welcome to the Games. It's pretty simple in terms of its structure. And I forgot to save the version with the Welcome to the Game short on it. So we're just going to need to deal with that. All right, this is probably one of my favorite parts, favorite tracks in the soundtrack itself. So we basically what we're seeing here is we have a vocal sample going into two bass samples. Well, they're not. Yeah. Going into a pad, and then into the main melody. Let's quickly go over the main melody here, since this is pretty much what started off the whole track. As you can see here, we have the note pattern. Well, on my left, but for you, it's beneath me. So let's just quickly hear exactly how this melody goes. And it switches up melodies here. So if you're unaware, you can see here that these are on the straight beats, and these are on the off beats. In a way that, here, can we zoom in? In a way that they're clearly not aligned up, and that was done intentionally. Because as you can see here, we got some interesting beats, so it's on the off beat here, and then here. Like, they're all scattered in the second portion. That's because I wanted to sound a bit... I wanted to emphasize that a bit and, like, make sure that it wasn't directly on beat and give the listener sort of like, whoa, what just happened? But, I mean, that sort of happens when we switch right here at 65. My bad, not that. So yeah, that shifts up the melody. Then I thought, okay, we need a bass to support this, and so I think I came back to this bass first because I really liked it and the sound of it. This is a Omnisphere preset called a Supermassive Depths, I believe. Yeah, and so we threw an arpeggiation on it. Threw an EQ on it to get the higher frequencies. And to give it more tone instead of having just the bass sound come through. Like this. So we gave it more tone, took out the frequencies that were gonna blow your speakers out. And then afterwards I realized, yeah, that's cool. That's a really cool bass, but we need to pair it with something to give it more sound. And so that's when I found the preset Return of King Juno, which is probably the coolest preset I've ever heard. Also, this is EQ'd to get the same frequencies. Because that just didn't sound interesting to me, so we took up the higher frequencies. And then pair that with the Supermassive Depths. And you get this really nice beat going. Because the Supermassive Depths also acts sort of as a bass drum sound. By just sort of how it strikes. It gives this very clearly defined rhythm. And that's what I really like about it. So that was that. Then next, I just basically took the melody and I put it on this thing right here, and then doubled it up. So that was that. So that's how this portion leads into the actual main melody. But then I was stuck because I needed an intro and I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. So I started working with vocal samples, and as you can see here, it kind of worked out well. So the way that this section works is there are a ton of notes. There are chords of, there are three chord notes, but they're all at different intervals, and they all overlap the next chord. This is important to how it sounded and how it flowed, because I realized that just doing straight chords was not working. So where it's like 2 measures of this, 2 measures of this, 2 measures of this, 2 measures of this, it wasn't working. It didn't sound right. And so I realized that overlapping the chords and then taking all the top 2 notes right here and making sure that they were always that there were always 2 notes overlapping. So like when one ends, another ends, or another starts, and then there's a second pattern that goes on like that to make sure that there's no real breaks. That's what I realized really made the sound as basically perfect as it was, because nothing is perfect in this. Like, everything is clearly a different length. Nothing lines up on a particular beat. That was intentional, because nothing sounded right when it was on beat, when it was quantized properly. And as you can see here, the velocity rises for some of these notes until we get to the end. And then it just glided so well into the basses. Like I was listening to this track for a long time. I started to get a little discouraged. I asked Francesca what she thought, and Francesca really loved the bass as well. Loved the transition from the vocals to the basses. So yeah, all in all, this is Gladiator Circle. It was originally supposed to be game selector music, but after basically the tournament said that we most likely weren't going to get anywhere, I started renaming the tracks mentally and in a document where I held like all the information on like what the tracks are, what their project names were, what they were originally going towards. So all those started going, all that stuff started changing, and I like the more I started listening to them, I'm like, okay, where can these fit in game / possibly with the theme? So I think next I kind of want to go over the tracks that you haven't heard yet, or like some of the more recent tracks. So what is it? I think let's do Brainwaves first, since Brainwaves was one that I spent a decent amount of time on. I spent like a whole afternoon working on this track. And it always irked me. It never sounded right to me. So yeah, let's make sure this is the right volume. So yeah, this is the arpeggiation pattern that we have here. Oh, the... I don't know why there are points on the master. There should be no automation on the master. But anyway. So, this track was a bit weird. The Brainwaves minigame was actually the first to come out, and I did not write music for that. And I was like, huh, what do I do? Like, what should I do in terms of like how I want this to sound? And the first thing I thought of was, what if I make it sound like a surgeon simulator track? And so then I started working with different arpeggiations, and so that's where this bass was originally the first in the project. It was Anticipation of Energy Pluck 1. And I did really like the pluck. The pluck was amazing, and so I took up the reverb, or no, the resonance, the release. It's called the release. ADSR, attack, delay, sustain, release. I turned up the release so that I gave it a bit more of a tail. And then I think came in this part. I think it was this, the droning sound. No, that wasn't it. It was the pluck down that we hear right here. Which pretty much is the same thing. These two have a nice double up together. Has a compressor on it, which is what this orange bar is. But then I was like, okay, that's cool and all, but we don't have a melody. And so just sitting listening to like the Surgeon Simulator soundtrack, I came up with this right here. Which I forget exactly what this what the sample is. Gorgeous analog pad. So I was looking for pads. I was looking for synth pads in particular. And so then, yeah, I realized that I wanted this more as a download track. And so I just sort of played around with with repeating this several times. And then eventually it just got to the point where, okay, we can't, this is going to get boring if it's not, if we're not doing this right. And so I repeated this twice. I found a place for this. And then I eventually just, sorry about that. Eventually I just decided to end it. To cap it off with this increasing arpeggiation, where it just adds an octave every, what is that, 8 notes? Or every 8 bars? I think it's every 8 bars. This is probably the track that fell most outside of my regular style. Or maybe it was the closest resemblance of it. I don't know. Because for the Champions of the Universe soundtrack, I kind of wanted to stay away from using as much like synthy sounds as possible, but I think this track sort of just fell into it. I guess old habits die hard. But then we went back to the front, and I'm like, I need something better to like sort of spice up the beginning. And that's sort of where this sound came in. Oh crap! I just completely overshot it. Where this sound came in. Can we turn that up? We can. It was this really weird sound that I had never heard before, and so I just took it and then I threw it in with the droning. Which ended up sounding really nice. Oh, what just happened? Oh yeah, and then we got the pluck down, which is also making its own underlying beat. It's basically taking that arpeggiation and just adding a bit of movement to this really drowsy sounding synth. Like it's just basically there, and so I took the pluck down and I made sure that it helped sort of keep the things moving a bit, because it just wasn't sounding right. So that's pretty much Brainwaves. I'm not particularly happy with it. But it was a scrap track that I needed to put in. Like when I came back to this like a week ago, it was just this and this in the project. Just these two files, these two parts, like literally just this what is this, 24 bar loop, I think. It was like just two of these sitting in a project right here. Like right here underneath the master. I was like, "All right then. Time to get to work and finish this for the soundtrack release." So then what came after is now probably one of the fan favorites. I have no idea what just happened. Thank you for the follow. It's Moon IRL. Welcome. Let's go ahead and save because we did mess with some automation a bit. But finally, what we're gonna look at is, I think, this is it. So this is a fan favorite. This is Bank Heist. And as you can see here, there's a lot that goes on here in terms of sound waves. All the waves here were played by me into the actual program, Pro Tools. So we got this, we got this, we got this, we got this. And then we have some synths that are played, that are like quantized to the actual tempo. But here, I want to show you a part that got scrapped, and it was this piano here. I really wanted to go for the spy, sort of like a cheesy spy sound. So I created this chord progression under the bass here. Let's actually hear it separately. But every iteration of this never worked. So then underneath the bass, it just didn't work. Plus, timing was a bit off, and there was input delay, so that never really helped. So I just got that. That just got the boot, basically. So let's just hear this very quickly. All in all. No, shut up. Not you. I want to make sure that the audio is good. All right, and that's the entire track. So yeah, this was a bit of a mess. It's the one thing that I hate is that I never fixed this percussion, and I only realized that until after I actually uploaded the track and the pre-album and the pre-order album. This is sort of just me like freely hitting notes on the piano, trying to make sure that I got that rhythm down. Clearly that didn't work, especially with this intro that we have. Also, I'm pretty sure I messed up somewhere, which is why I automated a cutout on that note. Here, why not? Let's hear all the percussion together. So let's do this, and then this. So it sounds about like this. So yeah, that's pretty much all the percussion. This is a hot mess. I'm not even gonna deny that. It's just so off. It's whew. Anyway, so then we have this. I forget what this is. It's just a regular. Is it a regular sine wave? No, it's not a regular sine wave. I don't even know what that is. A Logan Bassy. I'm gonna assume it's Bassy. Wait, I took off the analog stuff because it just didn't sound right. And then we left the compressor on it, so because that was pretty much fine. Then we tripled up this part, right? Yeah. Although I'm pretty sure this part came in last. This part came in first. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Which makes sense because this is the original melody with sort of the spy feel. And then we switch keys. See, that's pretty much it. And then I basically just copied it over onto this part right here with this sound instead of the other one before. So this one was, I think, comping Tom and Dave. I think that's what this synth was called. Yeah, comping Tom and Dave. Hang on, let's solo that as well. Turn off the piano. Let's hear the bass part of it. So yeah, it's a really cool sounding bass. And then we have this one right here. Which is which has a lot more overdrive and distortion on it. And that's sort of where I realized, okay, these two can work together if we like transition one to the other. So yeah, it's got a lot of effects on it. And yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much all that this track is. We have some interesting earworms, which are the hi-hats right here, which I think have a compressor on them for the claps, but then they also have like an EQ to sort of take out like the middle frequencies. I think like right here is where the claps are, and that's where I gave it some grace. But other than that, it's pretty much taken out, since I wanted that very soft sound. If we take a look at the compressor, we can actually see where this stuff falls. But yeah, I found that the hi-hats and the ride cymbals were actually very good for like a spy type track, and that's really what I wanted to get across. I feel like it came across really well. This is definitely something that I enjoy. This is a track that I'm kind of proud with, except for the percussion here, which I will never let myself do again. I will never do percussion like this again. Because this was done a bit differently, where it was just me like sort of trial and error and then just duping it. As you can see here, we just like tripled it. Actually, I think here, this was the original take. This entire file is the unused file. So let's hear the original hi-hat sounds. So yeah, it was a lot more metallic and it wasn't working well. I don't even remember what this is. So it was a lot more like sticks and clicks compared to like hi-hats and rides, if that makes sense. I forget what this is. This was more like this is a bass, but I forget what it did. Were you seriously arpeggiated? Oh, yeah, that's right, because I needed something underneath this, and I wasn't sure what. Well, I didn't need something underneath this. I wanted something underneath it, but I think having this by itself is actually a lot better than having a bass underneath it. Not to mention, it just didn't match the rhythm at all, and that's why I decided to cut it. And then, of course, the piano sound that we already heard before. Yeah, so that just wasn't working. So yeah, I would definitely say this is an attempt at something that I've never actually tried before, and that would be, this is probably something that I think came out really well. Is there a track that I'm missing? I think the last one is Champions of the Universe. Intermission was part of a different project, which I'm not going to share because I am still using that project for future things. So let's quickly open up Champions of the Universe. What was it? This one, I think. Don't save. Yeah, I just won't save. So yeah, this is it. This is Champions of the Universe. Was more of supposed to be like a winner's well, it was winner's POV. It was originally called winner's POV when we were actually like building the tournament. But it's a very complex and over the top C chord, basically. That's what this whole thing is. So yeah, that was definitely the most interesting thing about about this track, is that it's just a giant C chord. So it's like it doubles up on the bass. What is it? It's like, I don't even know what it's saying. Is it like this? It was something like that, where it's like a 4-octave. It's just a 4-octave C chord from all the way from the first C all the way to the 4th C. So yeah, it's like a 4-octave C chord. Anyway, that is all for the Champions of the Universe soundtrack. It's a relatively short soundtrack. I think, if I'm correct, it equal to about 30 minutes of content. No, not even. It was like, what, 9 to 12 minutes of content? 2, 4, 6. Let's say 10, counting these two. 12. It's like 13. 14 adding all the seconds, since maybe even 15. Yeah, it's about 15 minutes of content. So that is all that I have for you today. I am still working on music. I'm not gonna... Here, you know what? Fine. Let me quickly show you something that I've been working on for, I don't know, like the past month or so? No, not even. Not even. It's not the past month. But this is going into a new project of mine that I am currently working on. I cannot say what it is. Until it actually happens. But for now, you can hear this. So let's go back to Pro Tools. So this is part of a different project. And this is probably like one of my favorites from the current project. So that is a project that I've been working on for, that is a track that I've been working on for a project that I can't really talk about, but I just want to show off the track because this is genuinely like something in my style. This is how I would write music. Well, this is how I write music, but it's definitely shown you like the drastic difference between like what's it called, Champions of the Universe, and like what I usually like to write, which is very like sort of sci-fi spacey-ish ambient tracks. I've been told that it's ambient. I've been yelled at for saying ambient. And okay. But I think overall, you can pretty much see like where my style is and like how exactly I work with synths. Let's go ahead and go back to Game Selector because that, of course, is my favorite track. And I think we are going to end it here. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you so much for stopping by on today's live stream. Thank you so much to everyone who's listened to the the Champions of the Universe album. It genuinely means a lot to me. It has been my best album release yet, and overall, it was so fun to make. The team was honestly really good. And I can't say anything about what's happening behind the scenes because nothing is solidified. But what I will say is that the music probably was everyone on the team really liked the music, and everyone seemed to really think that it fit. So I'm really happy about that. This is my first project where it actually started to incorporate my music. But overall, I would say this has been a fun project, and I really hope to do more of this in the future because I really do enjoy writing music for video games. So, thank you everybody so much for tuning in, but unfortunately, I got to tune out. I have not eaten breakfast or lunch yet, so I should probably go do that. So I'll catch y'all later, and I'll see you in the next live stream. Bye-bye!